Lead, lead. The time seems long, their blood thinks scorn, till it fly out and show them princes born.
Act 5, Scene 1. Britain, the Roman camp. Enter Posthumus with a bloody handkerchief.
Yea, bloody cloth, I'll keep thee, for I wish thou shouldst be colored thus. Ye married ones, if each of you should take this course, how many must murder wives much better than themselves, for rhyme but a little? O Pisano mio, every good servant doth not command, no bond but to do just ones. Gods, if you should have ta'en vengeance on my faults, I never have lived to put on this. So had you saved the noble Imogen to repent, and struck, alack me, wretch more worth your vengeance, but you snatched some hence for little faults that's love, to have them fall no more. You some permit to second ills with ills, each elder worse, and make them dread it. No to the doer's thrift, but Imogen is your own. Do your best wills, and make me blessed to obey. I am brought hither amongst the Italian gentry, and to fight against my lady's kingdom. 'Tis enough that, Britain, I have killed thy mistress. Peace, I'll give no wound to thee. Therefore, good heavens, hear patiently my purpose. I'll disrobe me of these Italian weeds, and suit myself as does a Briton pheasant. So I'll fight against the part I came with. So I'll die for thee, O Imogen, even for whom life is every breath a death, and thus unknown, pitied not nor hated, to the face of peril myself I'll dedicate. Let me make men know more valor in me than in my habit show. Gods, put the strength of the Leonati in me, to shame the guise of the world. I will begin the fashion, less without and more within.
Scene 2, Field of battle between the British and Roman camps. Enter from one side Lucius, Giacomo, and the Roman army. From the other side, the British army. Posthumus Leonatus following like a poor soldier. They march over and go out. Then enter again in skirmish. Giacomo and Posthumus Leonatus, he vanquisheth and disarmeth Giacomo, and then leaves him.
A heaviness engulfed within my bosom takes off my manhood. I have belied a lady, the princess of this country, and the heir on it revengingly enfeebles me. And could this curl, a very drudge of nature's, have subdued me by my profession? Knighthoods and honors born as I were mine, and titles but of scorn. If that gentry Britain go before this lout, as he exceeds our lords, the odds is that we scarce are men. You are gods.
Stand! Stand! We have the advantage on the ground. The lane is guarded. Nothing routs us but the villainy of our fears.
Stand! Stand and fight!
Away, boy, from the troops, and save thyself. For friends kill friends, and the disorders such as war were hoodwinked.
Is there fresh supplies?
'Tis the day turns strangely, or betimes let's reinforce or fly.
Scene 3, another part of the field. Enter Posthumus Leonatus and a British lord. Camest thou from where they made the stand?
I think you better take this, Mike, because it's filled with Posthumus Leonatus. You better take it.
You want me to take Posthumus?
Sure, because it's filled with filled with his speeches.
Okay. Right. I did, though you, it seems, come from the flyers.
I did.
No blame be to you, sir, for all was lost, but that the heavens fought. The king himself of his wings destitute, the army broken, and but the backs of Britain seen, all flying through a straight lane, the enemy full-hearted, lolling the tongue with slaughtering, having work more plentiful than tools to do it. Struck down some mortally, some slightly touched, some falling merely through fear, that the straight path was damned with dead men hurt behind, and cowards living to die with lengthened shame.
Where was this lane?
Close by the battle, ditched and walled with turf, which gave advantage to an ancient soldier, an honest one, I warrant, who deserved so long a breeding as his white beard came to, in doing this for his country. Athwart the lane, he, with 2 stripling lads, more like to run the country base than to commit such slaughter, with faces fit for masks, or rather fairer than those for preservation cased, or shame, made good the passage, cried to those that fled, our Britain's hearts die flying, not our men, to darkness fleet souls that fly backwards. Stand, for we are Romans, and will give you that like beast which you shun beastly, and may save, but to look back and frown. Stand, stand! These 3,000 confident, enact as many, for 3 performers are the file when all the rest do nothing. With this word stand, stand, accommodated by the place, more charming with their own nobleness, which could have turned a distaff to a lance, gilded pale looks, part shame, part spirit renewed, that some turn coward, but by example, a sin in war, damned in the first beginners, began to look the way that they did, and to grin like lions upon the pikes of the hunters. Then began a stop in the chaser, a retire, anon a rout, confusion thick, forthwith they fly, chickens away which they stoop to eagles, slaves, the strides they victors made, and now are cowards, like fragments in hard voyages, became the life of the need, having found the back door open of the unguarded hearts. Heavens, how they wound! Some slain before, some dying, some their friends or born in the former wave. 10 chased by one, are now each one the slaughter man of 20. Those that would die or e'er resist are grown the mortal bugs of the field.
This was strange. Chance, a narrow lane, an old man and 2 boys.
Nay, do not wonder at it. You are made rather to wonder at the things you hear than to work any. Will you rhyme upon it and vent it for a mockery? Here is one. 2 boys, an old man twice a boy, a lane preserved the Britons, was the Romans' bane.
Nay, be not angry, sir.
Lack to what end? Who dares not stand his foe, I'll be his friend. For if he'll do as he is made to do, I know he'll quickly fly my friendship too. You have put me into rhyme.
Farewell, you're angry.
Still going. This is the Lord, O noble misery, to be in the field and ask what news of me. Today how many would have given their honors to have saved their carcasses, took heel to it, and yet died too. I in mine own woe charmed, could not find death where I did hear him groan, nor feel him where he struck, being an ugly monster. 'Tis strange, he hides him in fresh cups, soft beds, sweet words, or hath more ministers than we that draw his knives in the war. Well, I will find him, for being now a favourer to the Briton, no more a Briton, I have resumed again the part I came in. Fight I will no more, but yield me to the various hind that shall once touch my shoulder. Great the slaughter is, here made by the Roman. Great the answer be Britons must make. For me, my ransom's death on either side, I come to spend my breath, which neither here I'll keep nor bear again, but end it by some means for Imogen.
Great Jupiter be praised! Lucius is taken. 'Tis thought the old man and his sons were angels.
There is a fourth man in a silly habit. They gave the affront with them.
So 'tis reported, but none of them can be found. Stand! Who's there?
A Roman, who had not now been drooping here if seconds had answered him.
Lay hands on him, a dog. A leg of Rome shall not return to tell what crows have pecked them here. He brags his service as if he were of note. Bring him to the king.
Scene 4, a British prison. Enter Posthumus Leonatus and 2 jailers.
You shall not now be stolen. You have locked upon you, so gaze as you find pasture.
Aye, or a second stomach. Most welcome bondage, for thou art away, think, to liberty. Yet I am better than one that's sick of the gout, since he had rather groan so in perpetuity than be cured by the sure physician. Death, who is the key to unbar these locks? My conscience, thou art fettered more than my shanks and wrists. You, good gods, give me the penitent instrument to pick that bolt. Then, free forever. Is it enough I'm sorry? So children temporal fathers do appease. Gods are more full of mercy. Must I repent? I cannot do it better than in jibes. Desired more than constrained, to satisfy if all my freedom 'tis the main part. Take no stricter render of me than my all. I know you are more clement than vile men, who of their broken debtors take a third, a sixth, a tenth, letting them thrive again on their abatement. That's not my desire. For Imogen's dear life take mine, and though 'tis not so dear, yet 'tis a life. You coined it between man, and they weigh not every stamp, though light, take pieces for the figure's sake. You rather mine, being yours, and so, great powers, if you will take this audit, take this life, and cancel these cold bonds. O Imogen, I'll speak to thee in silence.
Oh, more thou thunder master show, thy spite on mortal flies. With Mars fall out, with Juno chide, at thy adulteries, rages, and revenges hath my poor boy doth aught but well, whose face I never saw. Thou diedest Whilst in the womb, he stayed attending his nature's law, whose father then, as men report, thou orphans' father art. Thou shouldst have been and shielded them from earth-vexing smart.
Mama Posthumus.
I'll take it. Lucina led me not her age, but took me in my throes, that from me was Posthumus ripped, come crying mongst his foes, a thing of pity.
Great nature, like his ancestry, molded the stuff so fair that he deserved the praise of the world as great Sicilius heir.
When once he was mature from man, in Britain where was he that could stand up for his parallel, a fruitful object be, in eye of Imogen, that best could deem his dignity?
With marriage, wherefore was he mocked, to be exiled, and thrown from Leonati's seat, and cast from her his dearest one, sweet Imogen.
Why did you suffer, Giacomo, slight thing of Italy, to taint his nobler heart and brain with needless jealousy, and to become the geck and scorn, or the other's villainy?
For this from stiller seats we came, our parents and thus twain, that striking in our country's cause, fell bravely and were slain, our fealty and tintiness right from honor to maintain. Like Harleman Posthumus' cat to Cymbeline performed, then Jupiter, thou king of gods, why hast thou thus adjourned the graces for his merits due, bring all the dolders turned?
Thy crystal window ope, look out, no longer exercise upon a valiant race thy harsh and potent injuries.
Since Jupiter, our son, is good, take off his miseries.
Peep through thy marble mansion, health, or we poor ghosts will cry to the shining synod of the rest against thy deity.
Help, Jupiter, as we appeal, and from thy justice fly.
No, these spirits of region low offend our hearing. Hush! How dare you, ghosts, accuse the thunder whose bolt you know sky-planted batters all rebelling coasts, poor shadows of Elysium, hence and rest upon your never-withering banks of flowers. Be not with mortal accidents oppressed. No care of yours is, you know 'tis ours. Whom best I love I cross to make my gift. The more delighted, be content. Your low-laid son our Godhead will uplift. His comforts thrive, his trials well are spent. Our jovial star reigned at his birth, and in our temple was he married. Rise and fade, he shall be Lord of Lady Imogen, and happier much by his affliction made. This tablet lay upon his breast, wherein our pleasure his full fortune doth confine and so sway. No, Father, with your din, express impatience, lest you stir up mine. Mount Eagle to my palace crystalline.
He came in thunder. His celestial breath was sulphurous to smell. The holy eagle stooped as to foot us. His ascension is more sweet than our blessed fields. His royal bird prunes the immortal wing and claws his beak as when his god is pleased.
Thanks, Jupiter!
The marble pavement closes as he entered his radiant route. Away, and to the blessed, let us with care perform his great behest.
Sleep, thou hast been a grandsire and begot a father to me. Thou hast created a mother and two brothers, but, scorn, gone. They went hence so soon as they were born. And so I'm awake. Poor wretches that depend on greatness favor dream as I have done. Wake and find nothing. But alas, I swerve. Many dream not to find, and neither deserve, and yet are steeped in favors. So am I, that have this golden chance and know not why. What fairies haunt this ground? A book? Oh, rare one. Be not as our fangled world a garment nobler than it covers. Let thy effects so follow to be most unlike our courtiers, as good as promise. When as the lion's whelp shall, to himself unknown, without seeking find, and be embraced by a piece of tender air, and when from a stately cedar shall be lopped branches, which, being dead many years, shall after revive, be jointed to the old stock, and freshly grow, then shall Posthumus end his miseries, Britain be fortunate, and flourish in peace and plenty. 'Tis still a dream, or else such stuff as madmen tongue and brain not, either both one or nothing, or senseless speaking, or speaking such as sense cannot untie. Be what it is, the action of my life is like it, which I'll keep, if but for sympathy. Come, sir, are you ready for death? Over roasted, rather, ready long ago.
I'll take it. Hanging is the word, sir. If you be ready for that, you are well cooked.
So, if I prove a good repast to the spectators, the dish pays the shot.
A heavy reckoning for you, sir. But the comfort is you shall be called to no more payments. Fear no more tavern bills, which are often the sadness of parting. As the procuring of mirth, you come in flint for want of meat. To part reeling with too much drink. Sorry that you have paid too much, and sorry that you are paid too much. Purse and brain both empty. The brain the heavier for being too light, the purse too light, being drawn of heaviness. Of this contradiction you shall now be quit. Oh, the charity of a penny cord. It sums up the thousands in a trice. You have no true debtor and creditor, but it of what's past is, and to come the discharge. Your neck, sir, is pen, book, encounters. So the acquittance follows.
I am merrier to die than thou art to live.
Indeed, sir, he that sleeps feels not the toothache, but a man that were to sleep your sleep, and a hangman to help him to bed, I think he would change places with his officer. For, look you, sir, you know not which way you shall go.
Yes, indeed do I, fellow.
Your death has eyes in its head then. I have not seen him so pictured, but must either be directed by some that take upon them to know, or do take upon yourself that which I am sure you do not know, or jump the after inquiry on your own peril, and how you shall speed in your journey's end. I think you'll never return to tell one.
I tell thee, fellow, there are none want eyes to direct them the way I am going, but such as wink and will not use them.
What an infinite mock is this, that a man should have the best use of his eyes to see the way of blindness. I am sure hanging's the way of winking.
Knock off his manacles, bring your prisoner to the king.
Thou bringest good news. I am called to be made free.
I'll be hanged then.
Thou shalt be then freer than a jailer. No bolts for the dead.
Unless a man would marry a gallows and beget young giblets, I never saw one so prone. Yet on my conscience there are verier knaves desire to live, for all he be a Roman, and there be some of them too that die against their wills. So should I. If I were one, I would were all of one mind, and one mind good. Oh, that word desolation of jollers and gallowses. I speak against my present profit, but my wish hath a preferment in't.
Scene 5. Cymbeline's tent. Enter Cymbeline, Belarius, Guiderius, Orpharegus, Pisanio, lords, officers, and attendants.
Stand by my side, you whom the gods have made preservers of my throne. Woe is my heart that the poor soldier that so richly fought, whose rags shamed gilded arms, whose naked breasts sticked before this targets of proof, cannot be found. He shall be happy that can find him, if our grace can make him so.
I never saw such noble fury in so poor a thing, such precious deeds in that one that promises naught but beggary and poor looks.
No tidings of him.
He hath been searched among the dead and living, but no trace of him.
To my grief, I am the heir of his reward, which I will add to you, the liver, the heart, and the brain of Britain, by whom I grant she lives. 'Tis now the time to ask of whence you are. Report it.
Sir, in Cambria we were born, and gentlemen, further to boast, were neither true nor modest, unless I add, we are honest.
Bow your knees, rise, my knights of the battle, and I create to you companions to our person, and will fit you with dignities becoming your estates. Oh, there's business in these faces. Oh, why so sadly greet you our victory? You look like Romans, and not the court of Britain. Cornelius.
Hail, great king! To sour your happiness, I must report the queen is dead.
Oh, pity. No, worse than a physician would this report become. But I consider that medicine life may be prolonged. yet death will seize the doctor too. How ended she?
With horror madly dying like her life, which being cruel to the world concluded, most cruel to herself, was she confessed, I will report so please you. These her women can trip me if I err, who with wet cheeks were present when she finished.
Prithee, say.
First she confessed she never loved you. Oh, the affected greatness got by you, not you, married you, your wife of your peace, abhorred your person.
She alone knew this, and that but she spoke in dying, I would not believe her lips in opening it. Proceed.
Your daughter, whom she bore in hand to love with such integrity, she did confess, was as a scorpion to her sight, whose life, but that her flight prevented it, she had ta'en off by poison.
Oh, most delicate fiend, who's to care read a woman? Is there more?
More, sir, and worse. She did confess she had for you a mortal mineral, which being took, should by the minute feed on life, and lingering by inches waste you, in which time she purposed, by watching, weeping, tendons, kissing, to overcome you with her show, and in time, when she had fitted you with her craft, to work her son into the adoption of the crown, but failing of her end by his strange absence, grew shameless, desperate, oped, in despite of heaven and man, her purpose repented. The devils she hatched were not effected, so despairing died.
Heard you all this, her women? Yes, we did. So please your highness. Mine eyes were not involved, for she was beautiful. Mine ears that heard her flattery, nor my heart that thought her like a seeming, and it been vicious to have mistrusted her. Yet, oh, my daughter, oh, that it was folly in me, thou mayest say, and prove it to thy feeling. Heaven mend all. Ah, thou comest not, Caius, not for tribute that the Britons have raised out, though with the loss of many bold one, whose kinsmen have made suit that their good souls may be appeased with slaughter. And view their oh, the captives which ourself have granted. So thank
Hello?
Hello? Wow,
Are we frozen?
you froze on the last word.
think that of your estate.
Consider, sir, the chance of war. The day was yours by accident. Had it gone with us, we should not, when the blood was cool, have threatened our prisoners with a sword. But since the gods will have it thus, that nothing but our lives may be called ransom, let it come. Sufficeth a Roman with a Roman's heart can suffer. Augustus lives to think on it, and so much for my particular care. This one thing only I will entreat, my boy, a Briton born, let him be ransomed. Never master had a page so kind, so duteous, true, diligent, and so tender over his occasion true. So feet, so nurse-like, let his virtue join with my request, which I make bold, your highness. Cannot deny he hath done no Briton harm, though he has served a Roman. Save him, sir, and spare no blood beside.
I have surely seen him. His favor is familiar to me. Boy, that thou looked upon myself into my grace and art mine own. I know not why, nor wherefore to say, live, boy, there thank thy master, live, and ask of Cymbeline what boon thou wilt. Fitting my bounty and thy state, I'll give it. Yea, though thou do demand a prisoner, thou noblest ta'en. Imogen?
I humbly thank your highness.
Thank you much.
I do not bid thee beg my life, good lad, and yet I know thou wilt.
No, alag, there's other word in hand. I see a thing bitter to me as death. Your life, good master, must shuffle for itself.
The boy disdains me. He leaves me, scorns me. Briefly die their joys that place them on the truth of girls and boys. Why stands he so perplexed?
What wouldst thou, boy? I love thee more and more. Think more and more that best to ask. Knowest him thou lookst on? Speak, wilt thou have him live? Is he thy kin, thy friend?
He is a Roman, no more kin to me than I to your highness, who being born your vassal, I am some tier nearer.
Wherefore I asked him so?
I will tell you, sir, in private, if you please to give me hearing.
With all my heart, and lend my best attention. What is thy name?
Fidele, sir.
Ah, Fidele. Well, thou art my good youth, my page. I'll be thy master, and walk with me. Speak freely.
Is not this boy revived from death?
One and another not more resembles that sweet rosy lad who died and was Fidele. What think you?
The same dead thing alive.
Peace, peace. See further. His eyes us not. Forbear. Creatures may be alike. Were it he, I am sure he would have spoke to us.
But we saw him dead.
Be silent. Let us further. It is my mistress since she is living. Let the time run on, to good or bad.
Come, stand thou by our side. Make thy demand aloud. Sir, step you forth, give answer to this boy, and do it freely, or by our greatness and the greatness of it, which is our honor, bitter torture shall winnow the truth from falsehood. Oh, speak to him.
My boon is that this gentleman might render, or whom he had this ring.
What's that to him?
That diamond upon your finger? Say how it came to be yours. They torture me to leave unspoken that I bespoke would torture thee. How? Me? I'm glad to be constrained to utter that which torments me to conceal. By victory I got this ring. 'Twas Leonardus's jewel, and thou didst banish, and which more may grieve thee, as it doth me. A nobler sir never lived. 'Twas twixt sky and ground. Wilt thou hear more, my lord? All that belongs to this. That paragon thy daughter, for whom thy heart doth blood, and my false spirits quail to remember. Give me leave. I faint. Ah, thy daughter, what of her? Renew thy strength. I had rather thou shouldst live while nature willed than die ere I hear more. Strive, man, and speak. Upon a time, unhappy was the clock that struck the hour. I was in Rome, and accursed that mansion where 'twas at a feast. Oh, would that our viands had been poisoned, or at least those which I heaved to head. Ah, the good Posthumus. What should I say? It was too good to be. Oh, where ill men were, and was the best of all, amongst the rarest of all good ones, and sitting sadly, hearing us praise our loves of Fidele, and for beauty that made Aaron the swelled boast of him that would speak, and for featured laming the shrine of Venus, and straight pipe Minerva, and posture beyond brief nature for condition, a shop of all the qualities that man loves woman for, and besides that hook of wiving, fairness which strikes the eye. I stand on fire. Come to the matter. All too soon I shall, and unless thou wouldst grieve quickly, this Posthumus, most like a noble lord in love, and one that had a royal lover, took his hint, and not dispraising whom he praised, we praised, and therein he was as calm as virtue. He began his mistress's picture, which by his tongue being made, and a mind put in it, and either are brags or cracked of kitchen trolls. His description proved us unspeaking sots. Nay, to the purpose. Oh, your daughter's chastity, there it begins. He spake of her, as Diane had hot dreams, and she alone were cold, where I, wretch, made scruple of the praise, and wagered with him pieces of gold against this, which then he wore upon his honored finger, and to attain to in soup the place of his bed, and win this ring by hers and mine adultery. He, true knight, and no blesser of her honor, confident that I truly find her, stakes this ring, and would so, had it been a carbuncle of Phoebus's wheel, and might so safely had it been all the worth of Scar. And away to Britain post I to this design. Well, may you, sir, remember me at court, for I was taught of your chaste daughter the wide difference twixt amorous and villainous. Being thus quenched of hope, not longing, my Italian brain can in your duller Britain operate most vilely. For my vantage, excellent, and to be brief, my practice so prevailed that I returned with similar proof enough to make the noble Leonatus mad by wounding his belief in her renown, which tokens thus and thus at varying notes of chamber hanging pictures, this her bracelet, oh cunning how I got it, nay, some marks of secret on her person, and he could not but think her bond of chastity quite cracked, I having ta'en the forfeit, whereupon, methinks, I see him now. Oh!
Aye, so thou dost, Italian fiend.
Ah!
Aye, me, most credulous fool, egregious murderer, thief, anything that's due to all the villains past, in being, to come. Oh, give me cord, a knife, a poison, some upright justicer. Thou, king, send out the torturers ingenious. It is I that all the abhorred things of the earth amend by being worse than they. I am Posthumus, that killed thy daughter. Villain-like, I lie, that caused a lesser villain than myself, a sacrilegious thief, to do it. The temple of virtue was she, yea, and she herself. Spit and throw stones, cast mire upon me, set the dogs of the street to bay me, every villain be called Posthumus Leonatus, and be villainy less than 'twas. O Imogen, my queen, my life, oh my wife, oh Imogen, Imogen, Imogen.
Peace, my lord. Hear me.
Shalt have a play of this, thou scornful page? There lie thy part. Ugh.
Oh, gentlemen, help! Mine and your mistress. Oh, my lord Posthumus, you ne'er killed Imogen till now. Help, help, my honored lady.
Does the
world go round?
How come these daggers on me?
Wake, my mistress. Wake.
Oh, if this be so, the gods do mean to strike me to death with mortal joy.
How fares thy mistress?
Oh, get thee from my sight. Thou gavest me poison, dangerous fellow. Hence, breathe not where princes are.
Oh, the tomb of Imogen!
Lady, the gods throw stones of sulfur on me. If that box I gave you was not thought by me a precious thing, I'd had it from the queen.
Oh, no, new. Ha ha, matters still?
He poisoned me.
Oh gods! I left out one thing which the queen confessed, which must approve thee honest if Pisanio have, says she, given his mistress that confection which I gave him for cordial, she is served as I would serve a rat.
Oh, a rat. Oh my goodness, yes. Well, no,
What's
God.
this?
Oh God!
Cornelius.
Cornelius, yes.
The queen, sir, very oft importuned me to temper poisons for her, still pretending the satisfaction of her knowledge only in killing creatures vile as cats and dogs of no esteem. I, dreading that her purpose was of more danger, did compound for her a certain stuff which, being tainted, would seize the present power of life, but in short time all office of nature should gain, do their due functions. Have you ta'en of it?
Most like I did, for I was dead.
My boys, there was our error.
This is sure Fidele.
Why did you throw your wedded lady from you? Think that you are upon a rock, and now throw me again.
Hang there like a fruit, my soul, till the tree die.
How now, my flesh, my child? What makes thou me a dullard in this act? Wilt thou not speak to me?
Your blessing, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Though you did love this youth, I blame ye not, for you had a motive for it.
My tears that fall prove holy water on thee. Imogen, thy mother's dead.
I'm sorry for it, my lord.
Oh, she was naught, and long of her it was that we meet her so strangely. But her son is gone, and we know not how nor where.
My lord, now fear is from me. I'll speak troth. Lord Cloten, upon thy lady's missing, came to me with his sword drawn, foamed at the mouth, and swore, if I discovered not which way she was gone, it was my instant death. By accident, he had feigned letter of my master's, then in my pocket, which directed him to seek her on the mountain near Milford, where, in a frenzy in my master's garments, which he enforced for me, away he posts with unchaste purpose, with an oath to violate my lady's honor. What became of him, I further know not.
Let me end the story. I slew him there.
Mary, the gods forfend. I would root not thy good deeds should from my lips pluck a hard sentence. Prithee, valiant youth, deny it again.
I have spoke it, and I did it.
He was a prince.
A most uncivil one. The wrongs he did me were nothing prince-like, for he did provoke me with language that would make me spurn the sea if it could so roar to me. I cut off his head, and I am right glad he is not standing here to tell this tale of mine.
I am sorry for thee. By thine own tongue thou art condemned, and must endure our law. Thou art dead.
That headless man I thought had been my lord.
Bind the offender, and take him from our presence.
Stay, Sir King. This man is better than the man he slew, as well descended as thyself, and hath more of 3 merited than band of Clotens had ever scarful. Let his arms alone, they were not born for bondage.
Why, old soldier, wilt thou undo the worth thou art unpaid for by tasting of our wrath? How a descent as good as we?
In that he spake too far.
And thou shalt die for it.
We will die all 3. but I will prove that tuons are as good as I have given him out him. My sons, I must, for my own part, unfold a dangerous speech, though happily well for you.
Your danger's ours.
And our good his.
Have at it then, by leave. Thou hadst, great king, a subject was called Belarius.
What of him? He is a banished traitor.
He is that hath assumed this age, indeed a banished man. I know not how a traitor.
Take him hence. The whole world shall not save him.
Not too hot. First pay me for the nursing of thy sons. Then let it be confiscate all, so soon as I have received it.
Nursing of my sons?
I am too blunt and saucy. Here's my knee. Ere I rise, I will prefer my sons than spare not the old father. Mighty sir, these two young gentlemen that call me father and think they are my sons are none of mine. They are the issue of your loins, my liege, and blood of your begetting.
How, my issue?
So sure as you are your fathers, I, old Morgan, am that Belarius whom you sometimes banished. Your pleasure was my mere offense. My punishment itself, and all my treason that I suffered, was all the harm I did. These gentle princes, for such as so they are, these 20 years I have trained up, whose arts they have as I could put into them. My breeding was, sir, as your highness knows. Their nurse, Europhile, whom for the theft I wedded, stole these children upon my banishment. I moved her to it, having received the punishment before for that which I did then, beaten for loyalty, excited me to treason. Their dear loss, the more of you 'twere felt, the more it shaped unto my end of stealing them. But, gracious sir, they are your sons again, and I must lose two of the sweetest companions in the world. The benediction of these covering heavens fall on their heads like dew, for they are worthy to inlay heaven with stars.
Thou weepest and speakest. Oh, the service that you three have done is more than unlike this thou tellst. I lost my children. If these be they, I know not how to wish a pair of worthier sons.
Be pleased a while. This gentleman, whom I call Polydor, most worthy prince as yours, is true Guiderius.
Darius,
That one. This gentleman, my Godwell, are Vivargas. Your younger, whatever. Your younger princely son. He, sir, was lapped in a most courteous mantle, wrought by the hand of his queen mother, which for more probation I can with ease produce.
Darius had upon himself his neck a mole, a sanguine star, and it was a mark of wonder.
This is he who hath upon him still that natural stamp. It was wise nature's end in the donation to be his evidence now.
Oh, Why, what am I, a mother to the birth of 3? Oh, neither mother rejoice deliverance more. Blessed pray you be, and that after the strange starting from your orbs, you may reign to them now. And 18 different discoveries in this scene alone. O Imogen, thou hast lost by this kingdom.
Oh, my lord, I have got 2 words by it. Oh, my gentle brothers, have we thus met? Oh, never say hereafter, but I am true a speaker, you call me brother, when I was but your sister. I, you brothers, when ye were so indeed.
Did you e'er meet?
Aye, my good lord.
And at first meeting loved, continued so till we thought he died.
By the queen's dram she swallowed.
Oh, rare instant! When shall I hear all through? This fierce abridgment hath 2 circumstantial branches, which distinction should be rich in. Where, how lived you? And when came you to serve our Roman captive? How parted with your brother? How first met them? And wife led you from the court to whither? And these your 3 motives of the battle, when I know that much more should be demanded, and all the other by dependences from chance to chance. And what a time for place we serve our long and interrogatories, yeah, and see forthcoming anchors upon Imogen, and she, like harmless lightning, throws her eyes on him, her brothers, me, her master, and hitting each object with such joy, the counterchange of it severally is all, and let's quit the ground. Yes, let's quit this ground and smoke the the temple with our sacrifices, and thou art my brother, so will hold thee forever.
You are my father too, and did relieve me to see this gracious season.
Oh, overjoyed, and save these in bonds. Let them be joyful too, for I shall taste their comfort.
My good master, I will yet do you service.
Happy be you.
The brought and should be the recommended praise and grace, the thinking of a king.
I am, sir, the soldier that did company these 3, and for beseeming was fitment for the purpose I then followed. That I was he. Speak, Giacomo. I had you down and might have made you finish.
I am down again. Oh, but now my heavy conscience sinks me my knee, as then your force did. Take that life, I beseech you, which I so often owe, but your ring first. Here's the bracelet of the truest princess that ever swore her faith.
Kneel not to me. The power that I have on you is to spare you, the malice towards you to forgive you. Live and deal with others better.
Nobly doomed, we'll learn our freeness of a son-in-law. Pardon is the word to all. Laud we the gods, and let our crooked smokes climb to the nostrils from thy blessed altars. Publish we this peace to all our subjects, set we forward. Let a Roman and British ensign wave friendly together. So through Ludstown march, and in the temple of great Jupiter, our peace will ratify, seal it with deep, and set on there. Never was a war did cease. Their bloody hands were washed with such a
Went
peace.
rogue.
It's done. The show is done. I'm over with it. I exceed my kingdom.
Philharmonis! Philharmonis!
Here, my good lord.
Read and declare the meaning. What is
When as a lion's whelp shall.
Going on.
Who's this? There you are.
You hoped us, sir, as you did mean indeed to our brother. Joyed are we that you are.
Oh, where are we?
It's Posthumus. Your servant, Prince.
Oh, okay. Your servant, princes, good my lord of Rome, call forth your soothsayer. As I slept, methought great Jupiter upon his eagle back appeared to me, and with other sprightly shows of mine own kindred. When I awake, I found this label upon my bosom, whose containing is from sense and hardness that I can make no collection of it. Let him show his skill in the construction.
Philharmonis? Philharmonis.
Here, my good lord.
Read and declare the meaning.
Whenas a lion's whelp shall to himself unknown, without seeking find, and he embraced by a piece of tender air, and when from a stately cedar shall be lopped to branches, which being dead many years, shall after revive be joined to the old stock, and freshly grow, then shall Posthumus and his miseries, Britain fortunate and flourish in peace and plenty. Thou Leonidas art the lion's whelp. The fit and apt construction of thy name, being Leonatus, doth import so much. The peace of tender air, thy virtuous daughter, which we call Mollis air, and Mollis air we term it Mueller, which Mueller I divine is this most constant wife, who even now answering the letter of the oracle, unknown to you, unsought, were clapped about with this most tender air.
This hath some meaning.
The lofty cedar royal Cymbeline personate thee, and thy loved branches point thy two sons forth, who by Belarius stolen, for many years thought dead, are now revived, to the majestic cedar joined, whose issue promised Britain peace and plenty.
Well, my peace he's not here. Well, my peace will begin. And Cassius Lucius, through the victor, we submit to Caesar and to the Roman Empire, promising to pay our wonted tribute, from the which we were dissuaded by our wicked queen, whom heavens in justice both on her and hers have laid a most heavy hand.
The fingers of the powers above do tune the harmony of this piece, the vision which I made known to Lucius, or the stroke of yet this sacred cold battle at this instant is full accomplished for the Roman eagle. From south to west, on wings soaring aloft, lessened herself, and in the beam of the sun so vanished, which foreshowed our princely eagle, the imperial Caesar should unite his favor with the radiant Cymbeline, which shines here in the west.
Laud we the gods, and let our crooked smokes climb to their nostrils from our blessed altars. Publish we this peace to all our subjects. Set we forward that a Roman and a British ensign wave friendly together, so though Ludstown march, and in the temple of great Jupiter our peace will ratify, seal it with feasts, set on there, never was a war did cease, ere bloody hands were washed with such a peace. I'm done, I'm over it, I'm done, it's over.
Wow, good night.
Thanks, everybody. That was good read. Yes, we enjoyed it again.
Thanks for hanging in, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we troopered through with a few definitely missing. Oh my gosh, it's Cymbeline. The Wicked Queen, or whoever are you?
Oh.
Thanks, Olani.
Thank you.
Did you take a nap?
She's on mute. You have to unmute.
Oh, I think what's next? Winter's Tale or something like that is next.
Did you take a nap?
Yes. Since I didn't have to read, I thought I'd just listen.
Classic. Okay. Do you know what's
like? It's still going on. Oh my goodness. Okay. No, how many hours is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, really. Let's see. We started at 5.
5.
Almost 5 hours. Holy mackerel.
Oh my goodness.
Why was it so long?
There's a lot of long speeches.
I don't know.
That's wild. But Jim did good tonight. He was able to read much better than usually, right?
Yes,
he get new glasses or something.
I don't know, but he did good.
Yeah.
And then he just got frustrated, went rogue, and jumped to the end. It was like, what's going on? He was tired.
5 hours.
Yeah, that's
wow.
That's wow.
Kaylin
So, do we know next time?
Let me look at the list on the fridge. I checked the list.
Take an extra week off or something.
It's Winter's Tale.
Is it short?
Winter's Tale. I hope so. We should try and cut out some scenes and try to make it up to 3 hours at the most, I think.
Yeah, I think we should look at scene cutting. 5 is too much.
Well, I guess we could have, made this into 2 parts and done it, 2 days like we did with that other play. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah. Awesome.
But
we gotta have readers, because I got bogged down and I could barely even. I mean, I threw in the cast and we didn't have people. So yeah, we gotta have to look in advance, about long ones or something. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, good idea.
Anyways,
good job. You folks did a good job.
We'll all be hoarse tomorrow.
What's it?
Okay, good night, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.